Yeah, so I think there's one thing you may have noticed, at least I want to make it explicit. Useful thing to be aware of all the time when coaching, also in life. And that is that there are basically, as I see it, two main modalities of coaching. And each modality has a very different style. And to be aware, which modality am I operating in now? Which one of these two main modalities? When I say modalities, I mean the style of coaching and the focus. So the first modality is talking about something. So in the beginning, we had that modality. And we were talking about the issue. So what is the issue and what's it about? And I was asking questions. And what's your financial situation? And how long have you been working? How old are you? What do you like to do? This is one modality. And it's a very nice modality. It's having a good conversation about an important topic. That's how I see this modality. It's like a good, nice conversation with a friend. I'm really interested, you know. It's like, yeah, Torbjörn, so where do you live? And da-da-da, what do you love to do? And how come you choose that? And I'm trying to understand you. And you're trying to understand yourself. And we're trying to understand what is the question, the problem, the challenge, the history, the story. Yeah? You get the point? So I need to be aware of when am I in this modality and when do I shift to the other modality, which has a very different vibe and style and energy and spirit to it. And what's the other modality? Here now. So is it? The here now modality. It is diving into present moment experience. That is the other modality. And this we normally don't do with friends in a cafe. It's a very deep, spirited, patient being space. And rarely do we do that in like good conversations even. That's when the conversation goes to a level of intimacy and depth that is unusual in daily life. And if it is usual in daily life, then we have really integrated that into daily life. But it's a very different modality. And that modality requires so little of me in terms of doing, but it requires a lot of me in terms of being. And trust. Trust the process of allowance. And there's nothing else I can do in that modality. And my mind goes, I gotta do something and fix something and go there and do this and do that. And I have learned to ignore it. I say, yes. We can get back to you when we're in the other modality. But now we are in the here now modality. And you are irrelevant. Trust the process of allowance. There's nothing else to do, really, basically. And there's only one basic question to ask, which is, what's happening right now? Of course, you can ask some other question, but that's like the question that holds that modality. And trusting that I have no idea what's going to happen if you stay with that experience of numbness. How can I know? Because I'm actually entering into the mystery of life unfolding. And it's the adventure, but it's a different kind of adventure. It seems like nothing is happening or it's going extremely slow sometimes. And it's not going to go anywhere. And still, just hang in there. trust the process. Because being is like nature, it works more slowly and then in sudden bursts of life. And since I've done that now for many years, I've learned to trust it. But it's taken me a long time to keep that inner doer in the distance and trust the process. Now I'm very much relaxed in that phase. But it's taken me many years of constant practice to relax and to the intensity of that inner doer, pusher. Do something, this isn't going anywhere, now you're supposed to figure out some intelligent questions. Relax, wait. And here is when I really need to be in touch with my intuition and listen to that rather than to the mind. Because occasionally I will suddenly say a lot of things. But that comes totally spontaneously from intuition. Out of that, just relaxing. And I trusting that impulse too when it comes from the belly, not from the mind. Then it's not out of wanting to fix anything, it's just like, how about doing a reality check? So that's a doing, but it comes out of the spontaneous impulse in the moment. So, and sometimes in this session with you, Maxime, it was very clear cut. We spent 5 minutes or 10 minutes on the first modality, and we spent almost the entire rest of the time in the second modality. But in other sessions, it can switch back and forth. So just to be aware, where am I now? And the depth comes only in the second modality. As you know, we can talk forever about something without anything transforming. We can understand everything about our history without anything changing. Only in the second modality does something new happen in any deep way. Any comments on this thing or this sharing?
I also noticed that you quite often would just sum up, do little summaries, which felt really helpful because it kind of stopped things from drifting off or things.
Yes, for sure. Mirroring is very important in the second modality. Mirroring. I mirror every physical sensation that is reported. Everyone. And I even repeated it, summarized it. Okay, there's a this, and there's a that, and there's a that, and there's a this. Okay. And then wait. What's happening now? See? It's a being space, allowing space. Plenty of time, no rush.
There's almost in the way that you did it, there was the spirit of allowance.
Exactly. You have to invite the spirit of allowance into the space as a coach if you want that modality to happen. You have to embody it as a coach. And that's why the main thing we're working on in the whole training is for you to embody the spirit of allowance in your own life as much as possible. Because that is what is and will enable you to offer it to anybody. It's not a method, it's a spirit. You cannot offer allowance as a method. Then it becomes very strange.
I was kind of like expecting that you would ask him to go back to that first question when he was in the being and when the both of you were in the being. Kind of like, okay, so if you look at your problem you raised now, what?
That would be a normal last phase. Yes, that's true. In a normal coaching relationship, we would maybe go to that phase, the last phase, action phase. For some reason, it didn't feel so important now. Yeah. It's like the issue in a way shifted a little bit away from that original question. So that's why bringing in that would be like confusing, I felt. I'm not sure if you agree, Maxim. Or we hadn't gone deep enough yet or something. I don't know if you have any comment on that. No. Did you miss it? No, he didn't miss it, so the intuition was right. Okay. Any other comment? This, I feel, important point, these two modalities. How is it to hear that description of those two modalities?
I have a comment, because when you were in your intuition, I think one core issue was that he addressed, I'm taking too much space. Mm-hmm. And you allowed that space, you waited him out. So you gave him on a deeper level what he needed. He didn't know that in the beginning. After a while, it like started to report, well, I'm taking too much space. Mm. And then you dared to still keep allowing him into it. And I could see it would be easy for me there to, allow that impulse to, then I would have missed the chance for him to kind of see the deeper layer. So it was a very interesting study to dare to wait it out, to be that patient. That was a teaching.
So to dare to wait it out. Now here is where again this business of these two modalities. Because if you go into dare to wait it out and the other person is in the first modality, it's like, what is this weird Zen coaching stuff? I'm trying to speak with you and you're just staring at me with your silent eyes. This is a spooky coaching method. See? You're offering the second modality and the client is in the first modality and you're like out of sync. It's not about waiting out at all times, because in the first modality it's much more active engagement. But if you stay only in active engagement, you'll never have a deep session. So if you want to have a deeper session, you also need to wait things out. Now, again, people are different, because to wait things out may be for 5 minutes with one person, but 5 seconds for another person. Some people are so quick that for them 5 seconds is waiting it out. And I've learned this because I get ready to wait it out, and so I go into silent waiting, and they do too. I can feel it, they go into silent waiting, and 5 seconds go on, and they're ready for the next. And I say, wait, that's enough. We just need to take a breath, feel it, they felt it, and now something new. And it's authentic.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, and it's authentic. They don't need to hang in there for a long time. It's like the whole system is operating at a different frequency than I'm used to. So also we can't say how long is waiting. Depends completely on the situation. You have to trust your intuition. I have to trust my intuition. Okay, we're going to have a break soon. Yes.
person that I'm coaching now, that if I wait it out a long time, I can see that that person tenses a little bit, and usually I ask a question, what's happening now, and then that person expresses that there's thoughts. So that can also be a result of waiting maybe too long, that go from the bodily sensations and trying to analyze instead.
Yes, so it shows what an art it is. It's like, trust the intuition. Now is a good time to come in with something. So it's like, yes, totally trust. No, waiting too long, the other starts thinking. And, you know, we can sense when somebody starts thinking. They sit, nothing has changed on the outside. You know, somebody's sitting in being, and we're just looking at them. And then they sit in the same position with no movement, but they're thinking. Can you feel it?
Yeah.
We feel it.
Yeah.
We can feel people thinking. So, right the moment when that's the time to come in and ask something, maybe. Any last comment before a break?
It's really helpful just to, you can be in it at different states during the coaching. It's really good for us to be aware of.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate that.
Yes. Let's have a coffee break, eh? And we have our silent day, so just maybe to enjoy the sun outside, enjoy the... So from we leave this room, we're in silence, okay? Coffee break is 20 minutes, so 12:05.
For human beings.
Yeah.